Hey guys, it's me here with that guy over there.
Hey, hey.
So, we've decided that in an effort to be more professional, that we're going to divulge some information to you, and we're going to drop the nicknames, and we're just going to go with our real names.
Now, these are our government names.
We're not giving last names and addresses, so we're not giving you social security numbers.
I thought we said we were going to do the social security numbers.
Well, you can do that, but
right.
Some of these people are pretty creepy, I imagine. Yeah, that's right. I just called you guys creepy. But anyway, so I am here with Justin, the artist formerly known as Murmaider.
Watch me get shot now.
I knew it was that Justin kid. And I am Angus. Angus McGrundle. Social security number 113-275942. No?
No.
Oh. I thought we decided to give your real name, but and my name is Darrell, and I am not a large black man.
Not Darrell.
Not Darrell.
Which people get mixed
or
with.
Darnell or anything like that. I am white and I am tall. So anyway, now that we've got that out, the weight has been lifted off our shoulders. We feel very professional now.
Sleep now.
And at least now, maybe the people who email us will know who the hell they're talking to.
Yeah.
Because that is awkward. So we did some reviews this week, which is pretty good because we do run a metal review site. So,
yeah, that'd be...
Murmaider, how about we start with you? But I just called you Murmaider again.
Yeah, what's the point of that?
It's this whole thing, So Justin, we're going to start with you. You did a review for a band called Vinterblot.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
They just put out a new album called Nether Collapse. And I fucking love this album.
You fucking love it?
Yeah, it's pagan death metal. The band's from Italy. And, I mean, it's like, I couldn't help but mention, like, Amon Amarth. There were a lot of guitar riffs that just reminded me of them. Not saying that they copied them or anything like that, but they were so good and so catchy. And and then they have like these death melodic vocals, these death metal vocals that are like just these low growling lyrics, and the one thing that really stood out to me in this album was the drumming. Now, I'm a fan of listening to a lot of different types of drumming, and,
yep.
and Brand Daler, one of my favorite drummers, and the things he does, but the drummer on this album is just insane. I mean, there's this one track on here where it's literally double bass like the entire time and like snare rolls like the entire time. And it's like this fast upbeat track, and it's just insane. Like, it just beats down at you every single time, and the patterns change up, and honestly it kept me in the album throughout the whole thing. It just amazed me. If you're a fan of drums or anything like that, or you're looking for new drummers, I would definitely check this album out, because the drumming on this album is it's spectacular.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now you're saying it's pagan metal. Now I guess the most likely comparison is Amon Amarth. Is it that kind of style?
Yeah, I guess you could put it under that style. Very Viking-like, but the vocals are a little more aggressive than Amon Amarth, I would say. I guess it's their vocals have a little more screech to it than just the constant low growling that Amon Amarth delivers. So, but yeah, some good shit.
Very interesting.
But moving on, Hell 22, you did a review for Dakesis.
I did, and now this one. Oh man, I almost feel bad saying it, but the first time I looked at the album artwork, I thought it had been drawn with a crayon. Not a big fan of the artwork. It kind of looks a little cheesy to me.
So you're saying you don't like crayons?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
That's what you're getting.
So, I started the album. It's called Trial by Fire, and I wasn't really sure what I was getting into other than the bio of the band. And what I got was an awesome progressive power metal album. It's a 5-piece band. 2 female members, one plays bass, and the other, I assume her name is pronounced Gemma, or Gemma. It's one of the two. I feel like such an asshole sometimes. But she does keyboards and background vocals. The front man, Wayne Dorman, this guy has some serious range. He can hit the high operatic notes. He can do the growls. He can do it all. It's really, this is like a picture-perfect progressive power metal album. A lot of P's there. A lot of P's, not the P, but a lot of P. And I don't really have anything bad to say about the album with the exception of the production work. And I'm not even going to say the production was bad. I'm just going to say it wasn't as good as it could have been. Okay. And it's one of those things where it doesn't hold the album back because the album was still great. Cause I feel like you almost get used to it. But it's definitely a little murky, a little unclear. You know, it could have used a little refining in the production aspect. But the album itself is great. One of the songs that I just was absolutely blown away by was the song Liar. And it's great because his vocals are so diverse. I compared him to a mix between Jack Black and Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. Because he has that almost bit of funny in his voice. And I know in that song, I'm pretty sure it's that song, he uses the word flatulence. So you could tell right there that this isn't like an overly serious band. So they got a little bit of humor in the music, but I was really impressed with it. His vocals and Gemma's vocals, both great. I think you got to check this band out. I know they just opened for Ed Guy, which gives you an idea. You know, obviously they're pretty respected.
Right.
From Birmingham, the home of Black Sabbath.
That's pretty big to open for them.
Yeah. And, you know, the response seems to be good.
Right.
And one of the other things, you know, side note that I want to mention is the two women in the band, Gemma and Amy, have a blog where they rate the dressing rooms that they get to use for their shows. The blog is Two Girls, One Band, which is also on Blogspot, I believe, which you can find on their main site as well. And it's actually really fun to read because, you know, one of their latest titles was, you know, Oh My God, Boobs on Stage, about what it's like to be a girl in a metal band. And, yeah, check it out. Dakesis, Trial by Fire. If you like progressive power metal, I think you will be very happy with it. A lot. So now, Justin, you did a review also for a band. Now, we're not really sure how to say the name of this band. We're just assuming it's short for Asgard, but it's with a Z.
Yes. Asgard or Zgard. The album's called Reclusion. Just came out this year. And it's actually from a one-man band. It's a side project from a guitarist by the name of Euromissy. Euromissy. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Please don't kill us.
Yeah, but he's from a Ukrainian folk metal band called Goviria, and this is his side project that he did, and it's basically atmospheric black metal, and I really like the album. But there were a couple things that kind of bothered me, and that was the beginning opens with this. It's just an intro called Ice Indifference, and all it is like wind sounds and sound effects and whatnot, with like a layer of synthesizers, like different like strange sounds. Okay. And I mean it wasn't bad. It was interesting. I was very curious where he was going to go from this. And I mean, it's for a good 2.5 minutes long, just an intro, and then it finally goes into the next song, which is Reclusion, and that's where, you know, guitars kick in and a lot of double bass drumming and things like that, and it's good. The music's good. It's very depressive. The only thing I had an issue was there was a song called Despair on there that basically opened with synthesizers, and it was like really weird. It was very futuristic sounding, but it was like overly done. And then eventually the guitars come in and the growling comes in, but they continue with the synthesizers throughout the whole song. Like the very beginning melody that you hear, it seems as if they just put it on repeat throughout the entire song. And I feel like it took away from the instrumentation and everything. And you know, like I said, there were still guitars in it and stuff like that, and it was a depressive track, but I don't know, it just kind of pulled me out of the music, hearing that.
Which is obviously the exact opposite of what you'd want. You want to be pulled in, you don't want to be pulled out.
Right. Now, on the other hand, there were certain parts that were absolutely awesome. There was a song called Rise of Coldness, which was really depressive and had a lot of minor chord guitars and guitar riffs. And it was at a slow pace, really heavy growling, delivered in like a slow, like slow motion almost. And then it's a 10-minute long track, and at the very end of it, there's like this amazing like flute solo, that just was just gorgeous. And behind the flute solo was like still heavy chugging guitars and catchy melodies, and it really kept it like soothing but an aggressive sound. So I really like that. So I mean, the album had its ups and downs. I would say overall to definitely check it out though. I mean, I gave it 8 out of 10, and it's good music. It's definitely good music. There's like I said, there's 1 or 2 parts that are a little iffy with the synthesizers, but besides that, I mean, there are good parts with the synthesizers too.
Yeah.
That he uses.
Well, sometimes that's the dangerous thing. How much is too much?
Right. So I think he just goes a little overboard on certain parts. But I mean, I would definitely give this album a shot, especially if you're into atmospheric black metal. So now moving on, you did another one by the band Valtari, right?
Yes. Now it's going to sound familiar. Ready? A one-man band from Australia.
Oh shit!
Another one.
Sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
One-man band walks into Australia.
It's a band. Marty Warren is the main man of the band, and I fell into this trap. When I'm listening to the album, I hit play, and I told him this via email. Was that the first 30 to 45 seconds of the first track, I felt like I was going to be listening to a metalcore album. And I was like sitting back in my chair like, oh God, do I want to do this? Do I want to do... But right after that little burst at the start, because it's like kind of that, rolling drums,
right,
technical chugging kind of thing, and then the vocals kick in, and he's just got this really low, growling, dense vocal. And all of a sudden I realized this isn't going to be metalcore. It was some serious melodic death metal. The only band I can really think to compare them to is Insomnium. I mean, the sound, the vocals, the guitars, because it has just that right amount of melody in the guitar riffs. It's not all just chugging, it's not all just distortion. There's some really melodic riffs, which I was really impressed with. But if you take Insomnium and you add just a nice dose of black metal, that's what you have here. And I think he found an interesting balance, one that I don't know that I've ever really heard before. He mixes in some keyboards every now and then, a little bit of synthesizer, but not too much like Zgard. And just I really have nothing bad to say about it. For something that was done by a one-man band, completely self-recorded, self-mixed, self-mastered, he did everything himself.
Right.
You would not know that this isn't like a professionally recorded album in a full studio with an engineer and everything. I was really impressed with the final product. And I mean, like I said, vocally, he goes from the death metal growls to screaming to the black metal style screeching. A little bit of everything in there. And it's just really impressive. And it really just gets me thinking over and over again just how many great things we've heard from Australia.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. So definitely give it a shot. And I actually had to ask him about the drumming on there, because the drumming is crazy. Absolutely insane. So I had to ask if it was programmed or actual live drums, and he wrote back and said it was programmed, but much like I believe it was Sam Locke programmed all of his drums, despite the fact that he is a drummer first and foremost. Right. And it's the same thing with Marty Warren. He said he's a drummer first and foremost, but he knew that anything he put on the album he would eventually have to play live in a live setting, and he wanted to make sure that he was going to be able to pull this stuff off.
Yeah.
So he put it on in the program form. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. Interesting point there. So so check the album out. It's Valtari, Fragments of a Nightmare. I think the official release date for the album is going to be the 24th of February, and he'll have it on his site, which is, I believe, under construction right now. It's valtari.info. Cool. So definitely give a look at that, give a listen, and see what you think about it.